Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to this video, guys. My name is Liaquat, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. This is the series for learning Hanafi Fiqh, Mukhtasar al-Qudoori. If you guys are not familiar with my channel, please hit the like, subscribe button, share my videos with others, and let's crack on with this then. All right, so let's have a go. So he says, remember the first thing that we do is try to find out the meanings of the word. So وَمَنْ اشْتَرَى دَارًا. So let's make this a bit bigger so you guys can see. Okay, ishtara, you know what that means, to buy. Dar, it means property. Khasam means the opponent. Sallama yusallimu taslim, to hand over. Muwakkil is the person who has made someone an agent. Yeah, so wakkala yuwakkilu tawkil, muwakkil. إذا باع is to sell. Miqdar is amount. Dhira is a cubit. Tul, length. Had, the border. Shafi, you know, we've done this so many times. La shuf'ata, ibta'a, to purchase. Saham, a portion or a share. Thaman is price. Kathir is a lot. Ibta'a is to buy. Jar is the neighbor. Okay, a lot of these. Iwadan, something in exchange for it. Shuf'a, you know what that is. Thob is a cloth. Tukrahu is disliked. Hila, stratagem. Okay, so stratagem. Isqat, to drop. That's probably the only word I'm writing. Shuf'a in the Abi Hanifa. Gharas, okay, gharas, it means some planting of something. Crops. Qadi is judge. And then you have, what else is there? Maqlu'an, it means uprooted. Uprooted. And then kallafa yukallifu taklif, it means to force someone. Yeah, so kind of to make someone. Kallafa yukallifu, to force them. Qala, to uproot. Again, a lot of these words, guys, I'm sure you guys know a lot of these. Shafi bana, to build. Istahaqqat or istuhiqqat, it means to be entitled. Someone is entitled to it. Yarji' raja'ir, to return, and then that's it. Alright, so that's the meaning of the words then. Let's have a look at some tarkeeb, because, you know, you guys are fanatics about tarkeeb. So, he says, Man ishtara, fail, file. Daran is the maful bihi. Li ghayrihi is jar majruh. Fahuwa mubtada. Khasmu is going to be the khabar. Shuf'ati, jar majroor. Sallama yusallimu taslim. Yusallimu illa al-muwakkil. So muwakkil, right, is the person who is jar majroor. إذا باع في الفاعل دارا إلا مقدارا. Okay, it's the istithna. ذراع في طول الحد جار مجرور مضاف مضاف إليه ولا يلي في الفاعل. الشفيعة that's مفعول به. فلا شفعة لا نفي الجنس. ابتاع في الفاعل. سهما is the مفعول به. بثمن كثير, right, so ثمن بثمن كثير. ثم ابتاع في الفاعل بقيمتها. فالشفعة, okay, so this is going to be the مبتدا للجار جار مجرور. في السهم الأول صفة دون الثاني. وإذا ابتاعها بثمن ثم دفع إليه ثوبا is the مفعول به عوضا عنها. Why do you think this is منصوب? Let me know in the comments. فالشفعة is the مبتدا بالثمن دون الثوب. ولا تكره الحيلة, this is the نائب فاعل. في إسقاط الشفعة عند أبي يوسف وعند محمد. تكره against all مجهول. وإذا بنى المشتري أو غارس to plant. ثم قضى القاضي للشفيعي بشفعته. فهو مبتدأ بالخيار جار مجرور. إن شاء أخذها بالثمن. okay. إن شاء أخذها بالثمن. وقيمة البناء والغرس مقلوعا, okay, so مقلوع منصوب حال. وإن شاء كلف, so كلف ده. كلف المشتري قلعه. إذا أخذها الشفيع في الفاعل فبنى بنى يبني غرس to plant ثم استحقت استحقت رجع بالثمن في الفاعل جار مجرور يرجع بقيمة البناء والغرس. Alright, so let's have a go now at trying to explain this. Alright, let's see if we can do it. Inshallah we can. We're trusting you guys. Alright, so, but do you guys have trust in me? Inshallah you do. Man ishtara, so now this is talking about scenario now. Man ishtara daran. So let's say for example, this is the house of the, okay, let's try this. This is the house of the guy that's selling his house, alright? And then we have this guy over here, who is obviously the buyer. But what's happened is, so this is the Shafi, Mr. Shafi, yeah, not Imam Shafi. من اشترى دارا لغيره فهو الخصم في شفعته. Whoever purchased a house for someone else, right? So whoever purchases a house for someone else. So what happened is this buyer has gone to the Shafi and he's asked the Shafi, can you go and okay, it's like this. This guy has actually gone and he's, yeah, this makes more sense now. Do a different color. Right, so this buyer has gone and he's told this guy, let's call this guy, we'll give him this guy a name, right? So we're going to call him Bakr. Mr. Bakr. So Mr. Bakr, he is the agent, right, to buy the house. So he's gone and bought the house. Now the Shafi has claimed the Shufa, he's done his two things, he's gone to court, etc., blah, blah, blah. Now when he goes to take someone to court, is he going to take the buyer to court or is he going to take the wakil to court? So the rule is he's going to take the wakil to court, because in Hanafi Fiqh, when a wakil does anything which is related to bayt, then he is the one, the wakil is the one who is responsible for all of the dealings, going to court, etc., not the muwakkil. Right? So not the guy who has made him the agent, right? So not the original guy. So Shafi is going to take this guy. Yeah. However, unless this guy was to purchase the house and then now he's handed the keys to this guy, he's done his job now. The agent has done the job, handed over the keys to the buyer, the original muwakkil, and now the Shafi can get the shufa from him now. Alright, so does that make sense? So let's have a look at this. So he says, Man ishtara, whoever purchases a dar. So this is the wakil. لغيره, for someone else, for in this case the buyer. فهو الخصم, then he will be this wakil will be the khasam, the opponent in shufa. إلا أن يسلمها, unless this wakil was to hand it over to the buyer, the wakil, the muwakkil, إلى الموكل. Right? And then now obviously he's going to become the guy that he's going to take to court. Alright, so that's the first masala now. Second masala. وإذا باع دارا إلا مقدار ذراع من طول. So this is a bit of a, I need to draw this one out a bit because this requires a bit of explanations. So imagine, for example, this is the property. Okay, this is the house. Now, this owner, he's fed up of his neighbor. He kind of like says, you know what, this neighbor is just annoying and, you know, he just wants the house, blah, 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 and, you know, it's going to cause more problems. So is there any kind of way that he can avoid this? So this is the boundary between the houses. This is the, you can say, you know, fence. So what he's done is, this guy, the guy that owns it, let's call him Zaid. Zaid has sold this patch over here. Yeah, he sold this patch. Yeah. Sorry, he has sold his entire house except for this patch. Right, so let's color this in a different color. So what the thing that I'm coloring in all in blue is the thing that he sold. All this property, all of this, he sold this. Except for that one, let's say for example, yard. Yeah, 1 yard patch. So it's 1 yard wide and all the way from one side of the property to the other side of the property. Right, so this is the part which he's actually not sold. Right, he's kind of done a trick. So this is actually a way to avoid getting the shuf'ah, the neighbor getting the shuf'ah. Right, so this is, he says, وَإِذَا بَاعَ دَارًا, so Zayd sold his property, all this blue area, إِلَّا مِقْدَارَ ذِرَاعٍ, except for 1 yard, فِي طُولِ الْحَدِّ, in the length of the property, الَّذِي يَلِيَ الشَّفِيء, which is next to, yali means next to the shafi's property. Now, he hasn't sold this 1 yard. فَلَا شُفْعَةَ, then there's no shuf'ah. Lahu, the shafi gets no shuf'ah. He's a bit upset. There's a kind of like a loophole in the way that you sell it. Alright, that's the second masala. Third masala. Now, if the same property, so let's do another scenario, I think. Let's do another scenario. It's easier than. Right, so this guy. Okay, so he's got a house. Next door neighbor lives next door. Alright, so what he's done is, so this is the boundary between the two. So what he's done is, he's sold, let's have a little look at this. He's taken a patch of his land, let's say for example, 1 share of the land, right? He hasn't, it's not a specific area. He said, for example, I'm selling 1% of my property. I'm selling 1% of my property. And he's selling, this is the crazy thing, he's selling for a ridiculous amount of money, right? So he's saying 1%, I'm selling it for £200,000. 1%. Now obviously the neighbor's going to say, silly, I'm not going to buy that. What's happened is, this is a trick. So the guy he's selling it to says, okay, I'll buy this 1%, the saham, for 1%. And then now when he goes to sell the rest of it, the 99%, so now goes and the rest of the 99%. Now because 99% is a share, it's not a specific location. He's selling the rest of it for, I don't know, let's say just 0.01 pounds, right? This neighbor doesn't get the rights. In fact, this guy gets the rights now because he's closer. Yeah, because he's kind of shared ownership now. So he is the one that gets the rights to this. He becomes the shafi for that. So this is a way, another second way of trying to get someone else involved. Yeah, and avoiding selling it to the real guy. So does that make sense? So in ibta'a minha sahman, if this guy sells, or this could mean buy as well, but let's say for example he sells a share to someone else, yeah, or this guy buys, rather, let's translate as buys. In ibta'a, if this yellow guy, he buys a share bithamanin kathir, for a very high price, 1% for a very high price, ثم ابتاع بقيته, then he buys the rest of it, فالشفعة للجار في السهم الأول. So this shafi, alright, so let's put him over here. He actually has shares to only this one. And because it was too much, he didn't want to buy it. He just turned it down. Then what happens is, when the other guy purchased that 1% share, the shafi does not get in the thani, duna thani, and not the second. So he doesn't have the rights in the second. So this one, let's say this over here, he doesn't have rights there. Right there, he doesn't have rights. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is basically how we're going to look at this then. This is that 2 methods, right? 2 methods of trying to avoid this. Is there any other methods? Let's have a look at some other methods. Okay, so he says, now guys, if you like my channel, if you like the work, then please hit the like button, subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you guys want to become sponsors of my channel, support my channel, or you know someone that does, please reach out to them. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate the support that you guys give my channel. Honestly, it means a lot to me. All right. إذا ابتاعها بثمن ثم دفع إليه ثوبا عوضا. Okay. So now let's say for example there is a property here. So this is the property. It's a new masla. This is the neighbor. Yeah, Mr. Shafi. And this is some guy who's going to buy the property. So إذا ابتاعها بثمن ثم دفع إليه ثوبا عوضا عنه. Now let's say for example this guy was to sell the property to this guy for 200k. Okay, that's the price. Then what he does is, instead of giving him the price, he says, you know what, don't give me the price, give me your jacket. So he says, okay, you want my jacket? Says, okay, so just give me your jacket. So he gives him the jacket. Yeah, so the jacket goes to him and the money gets cancelled out. What about this guy then? So the Shafi, what does he do? So he has to, he's not allowed to give the thobe. He actually gives the original price that was stipulated. Yeah, so the original price that was mentioned, that's what he gives. Now this is a kind of a cheat to kind of get out of it. So what can happen, this is a very high price, isn't it? Let's say for example, they can hike this price and say, actually no, give me 600,000 for this house. Now the neighbor is going to say, forget that, I don't want 600,000. And then, you know, between these two, they can settle for a coat, a very cheap coat. But this is a way, a third way of avoiding getting the neighbor involved in buying the property. Does that make sense? So these are three techniques then that Imam Qudoori is telling us. إذا ابتاعها, so when this guy in yellow, he buys the property بثمن, for a price, let's say, you know, 600,000. ثم دفع, and then instead he handed over إليه ثوبا عوضا, in place of it, in place of the price. فالشفعة, so the ultimate shuf'ah, if the neighbor wants it, if the Shafi wants it, he's going to have to pay the thaman, 600,000, and he won't be able to give the value of the thobe. So these are three techniques, stratagems we call them, a hila, to stop the Shafi. Now obviously people might use this in the wrong way, and you might need to use this in the right way as well, because there might be some neighbors who really hate, right, and they want to cause problems for the community. Alright, so now ultimately Imam Abu Yusuf is okay with these healers. Imam Muhammad is not okay with them. Right, so Imam Abu Yusuf, he says hila is a stratagem. You know what stratagem is? Yeah, like a loophole, you can say. Imam Abu Yusuf says they're okay. Muhammad says no, they're not okay. Right, so this is the ikhtilaf between the two. So la tukrahu, healers are not considered makruh fi isqat, in dropping the shufa from the neighbor. In the Abi Yusuf and wa in the Muhammadin, according to Muhammad, tukrah, they're considered to be makruh. Alright, so that's because, you know, Imam Muhammad saying, well, look, if you're going to start doing this, then genuine people who want to buy the property, the Shafis, are going to be cheated by people using these kind of techniques, you know, and this is not really a nice thing, is it? Okay, وَإِذَا بَنَى الْمُشْتَرِي. Now, let's say, for example, this guy has purchased the property. So, deal's gone through. Okay, so this is the guy. And this is the neighbor. Okay, so he's got his property there. And this is the border, the property. And this guy's gone and bought the property. Right, so he's gone and bought it, taken the keys. So now, what this guy has done, so this guy's out of the picture. Yeah, he's gone. So this guy now has gone and he started to plant trees in his garden. Yeah, he's began to build, I don't know, some structure, some garden room. Yeah, outside office. He's built a nice outside office there. You know, he's planted loads of things in landscaping and all that. Spent a lot of money in extension. So now what happens? What if, let's say, a few months later, this guy finds out, this guy's gone on holiday, the Shafi. Shafi's gone to the Qadi now, the judge, and he's gone and mentioned basically, you know what, I want the rights to this. So he's actually got all the rights. What's going to happen to all the things this guy has built in the interim period? Remember, quite a long time has passed. So, you know, let's say, for example, the property was sold in January, and now we're in December now, right? So what's going to happen in this case? So this is what he's saying. So ultimately, he has to get rid of everything. إذا بنى المشتري, if the mushtari has built, or غرس, or planted, ثم قضى القاضي, then the qadi comes and gives it in favor of the shafi, بالشفعة, للشفي, for the shafi, بالشفعة, فهو بالخيار, then he has a choice. The shafi can actually say to, okay, how much did you get the house for? So he goes, I don't know, I bought the house for 200,000, 200k, right? Okay. So he takes that, and then he can say to him, how much does the tree cost? He goes, Okay, the tree costs, if it's planted in the ground, it costs £100. And if it's uprooted, it costs £70. Yeah. And what about this building here? This building here, it cost me, I don't know, £10,000, 10k to build. But all the material uprooted will cost me, I don't know, 8k. So what he's going to basically do is, this is what he's saying now. He's saying, insha, if the Shafi wants, he takes it bithamani, for the price, wa qimati al-bina wal-ghars, and the value of the ghars and the bina, the structure, maqlu, and uprooted, not the fitted in price, which obviously can be cheaper, isn't it? Or that's one option he can have, right? So we're going to give him one option. Let's say this is option number one. Right, so he takes it for 200 plus 70 plus 8k, right? So he's going to take it for that amount. Option number two is, no, he's going to get the guy to take his stuff, dismantle the whole structure, take the tree out of the ground and go. He just has to pay the 200k. Right, so it's just the 200k that he's going to pay, and that's it. So this is what he's saying. وَإِنْ شَاءَ, and if he wishes, كَلَّفَ الْمُشْتَرِي, he's going to make the mushtari قَل, to uproot it, and that's it. Okay, so that's the masla between the end of story now. Right, so he's got two options there. Finally, last one. Let's say this Shafi was to take it now. Yeah, and now he's gone and built his own things. So what I'll do is, let me just draw this over here so it kind of fits in nicely. So what's happened over here is, okay, so this is the house. Shafi has managed to get the house. Right, so he's got two houses now. So he's managed to get the house, it's his now. And he's begun to plant stuff in there. So trees in the back garden. And he's built himself like a nice shed or something, I don't know. Yeah. Right, so he's built in a shed. Then what's happened is, so let's say this happened, timeline. So December, he got the property. And now this is like, let's say, I don't know, July, the next year, July time. Someone has gone to court and said the original property belonged to him. Meaning the guy who sold it, the original seller, it wasn't his property to start off with. So this original seller sold it to the mushtari. Mushtari then had to give it to this guy. Now what's happened, he's out of the picture. The Shafi's got the property now, and the Shafi's built all of this. Now the judge has said, right, this is actually belonging to this guy over here. He actually belongs to this guy. So now all the stuff that he's actually done over here, what's going to happen over here? Yeah, so this is what he says. وَإِذَا أَخَذَهَا الشَّفِيءُ. So now let's say the Shafi has taken this property. فَبَنَى, he's built his nice garden room. Or غَرَسَ, or he's planted things there. ثُمَّ اسْتُحِقَّتْ. استحقت means someone else came who is entitled to it. And they've won the case. رَجَعَ بِالثَّمَنِ. So now obviously the Shafi now has to go back to the original guy that he bought it off. And he's going to get back his money, isn't it? So let's say, for example, he bought it for 200k. He's going to get 200k back. So 200k back to him. Right, refund. But what about the property and all that? This guy does not have to pay for that. That's on his shoulders, that's his responsibility. So وَلَا يَرْجِعُ. But the Shafi cannot get a refund for the value of the structure and what he's got to do is got to dismantle it and he's got to take it away. Yeah, now obviously if the other guy says, you know what, leave it, I'll buy that off you. Yeah, that's up to him. But here, he just dismantles it, takes it away, and leaves the property as it was. Does that make sense? All right. Let's have a go then at this. Okay, so let's see if you guys understood this. First question for you guys. If an agent has purchased the house for the buyer, who is the one that's taken to court? The agent or the muwakkil? The guy that sent the agent. So it's the wakil, the agent, unless he handed over the keys, the property to the seller. Okay. Number two, what are the three, explain three healers, three stratagems that are employed for a person who doesn't want the shafi to get the house. Okay, so number one, you dig an area on the border between your house and theirs, roughly the width of a cubit, long ways. You sell the property, you sell the property except for that area, and that guy doesn't have rights to it. Okay. Number two, the second is, you sell a share, like 1% of the property, for a very high price, so it dissuades the neighbor from wanting to buy it. Then you sell it to your friend or whoever you want to sell it to, and then you get him to buy the rest of it for a very cheap price, and the shafiq does not have a right. Number three, what's the third one? Is you sell the house for a very high price, and then you, instead of taking the full price, you take a jacket. Yeah, you take something. And this, again, this guy will become disinterested in that. Okay, what about, is doing a healer in these things okay? Imam Abu Hanifa says, Imam Abu Yusuf says it's okay in Shufa. Imam Muhammad says no, it's not good. It's not right. Okay, now let's say, for example, the Shafi has purchased the property and he's built things on there, and the Mushtari has built things on there. And the Shafi comes along and he wins the case. What happens to all the things that he's built? So he's got a choice. Either he's going to, option one, take it for the value of it being dismantled and uprooted, or he just takes it for the value of the original price of the house, and the rest he gets the guy to remove them. And the last masala, if a person, Shafi, was to win the case, he got the property, and he's built all of his things in the back garden, and then someone comes who claims they're entitled to the property in the first place. They win the case, what happens? So the Shafi gets his full refund for the property, but he doesn't get anything for the things that he's built, the loss that he incurs there. That's something that he's just got to bear. And that's it, guys. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Jazakumullah khair for watching it. Any feedback you have, please let me know in the comments. Make special dua for me that I'm able to complete all these projects that I have. And anyone wants to become a supporter on my channel, please check it out. Thank you to all my patrons as well. Details in the description below, you can see on the screen as well. And I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.